All right, you know what I'm saying? So, boom. So, I've been kind of thinking over the past week or so since AJ Lee came back to the WWE. I don't know what it is these days with fans and this whole, I don't know, epidemic of people who just make things bigger or they make things out to be bigger than what they actually are, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but I see AJ Lee make her return and everybody's just making it seem like this big fucking deal, man. Everybody's making it seem like, I don't know, fucking Steve Austin came out of retirement again. I mean, you would think that with the whole amount of hype and just the pomp and circumstance around her coming back. I mean, you would think like, for instance, Andre the Giant like rose from the grave and is having a match at WrestleMania next year or something. The way that people are hyping this shit up to be as if, it's just something so massively important when it's really not. It's AJ Lee, right? AJ Lee was, I guess, a decent diva back in the day or whatever. She was pushed pretty well at one point in time. She was like the GM. She was like the first woman to headline an episode of Raw since like Lita and Trish Stratus or whatever. And she comes back and, I get it. It's cool. People are excited to see her. It's been a long time, but come on, dude. Come on. Let's not sit here and really act as if this is like some massive fucking deal. You know, every time somebody makes their return now, see, we're at the stage now where you can have like a random mid-carder from like the Ruthless Aggression era. They can make their return and everyone again makes it seem as if fucking Savage just again fucking rose from his tombstone and now this motherfucker's dropping elbows on people or something like that. That's what it would seem like. Like if you didn't know who came back and you just saw all this hype and just amount of buzz out there, people are like, oh, one of the greatest returns of all time. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Are you trolling? This is AJ Lee we're talking about. She's like, what, a two-time Divas champion or whatever? Nikki Bella came back also, but yet I don't see people making nearly as big of a deal about it, even though Nikki Bella was really a bigger star, if we're being honest. I get it. AJ Lee was gone for a very long time, but so fucking what? What does it really matter? She's only getting this amount of hype because the fans, they create these delusions in their mind now where every fucking thing they see is somehow a huge deal. This has been, I feel like, an epidemic in wrestling for the past at least 7, maybe even 8 years. It's like every match you see, oh, it's one of the greatest matches of all time. Fucking, going back to Kenny Omega and Okada. Oh, this is the greatest match that's ever happened. No, the fuck it's not. All right. Fucking, you can have someone go out there and cut like an above average promo and they're like, oh, this is one of the greatest promos of all time. You know what I mean? Fucking Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman. This is the greatest tag team match of all time. Bro, let it marinate. Let's come back to it in maybe a year or 2 years or even 5 years. And let's see how much it really holds up. Is anybody really talking about, half the shit that I just mentioned, as much as they were like right after it happened? AJ Lee comes back and again, it to me, it just kind of goes to show just how far we've fallen in wrestling, man. I mean, we've gotten to the point now in 2025 where AJ Lee coming back is really some huge deal to some people. Like, and that's the thing that scares me. That's one of the things that really scares me about this whole thing is that it's not a big deal. I know it's not a big deal. Deep down, the ones who are acting, so shocked and surprised and ecstatic, like even the people that are excited, bro, deep down, if they're being honest with themselves, they know it's not a big deal. They know it's not. But you have some dumb fucks out there who genuinely believe that AJ Lee coming back is comparable to like when The Rock came back a year or two ago. Like we've literally seen Brock Lesnar come back. We've seen The Rock come back. We've seen Cena come back. We've seen all these massive returns, but for some reason, somehow AJ Lee's name is up there in that discussion with those big names. It's AJ fucking Lee, man. Come on. Whether she comes back or not makes no fucking difference. This woman draws zero dimes, just like no the rest of the women. None of them draw any fucking money whatsoever. Her coming back does fuck all, if we're being real. You know, and she's not even really allowed to stand on her own 2 feet. That's another thing as well, because now before she was like this teenage like crazed bitch or whatever, and now her entire character, her entire gimmick, her entire presentation is just wrapped up in the fact that she's CM Punk's wife. Basically, that's all she is. She's CM Punk's wife. Like when Beth Phoenix came back to team with Edge, she's no longer the Glamazon, she's just Edge's wife. You know, that's all this is, bro. When Maurice came back, she's just Miz's wife now. You know, it's like when these people get paired up, they just lose whatever fucking character they have on their own. At least when Edge and Lita became a thing, it was like they both added a lot to each other. AJ Lee doesn't add nearly as much to CM Punk other than just getting like a mixed tag team match out of this whole fucking Seth Punk rivalry. What does she really do? This is not a big fucking deal. If it was truly a big fucking deal, then it would happen, before like WrestleMania or at like a Rumble or so. Like, I don't get it, man. Me personally, I don't get it. If you wanted to use AJ Lee in some capacity, in my opinion, they probably should have just brought her back maybe last year when Punk was feuding with McIntyre. And I don't know, maybe during like their Hell in a Cell match, AJ could have been in the crowd or whatever. Maybe she could have given Drew McIntyre like a slap or some shit like that. But she does not need to come back and have this like major role as if she's this big player. You know what I mean? It's almost preposterous. It's almost preposterous that you have people really who these days are so fucking delusional and brain dead that they, try to convince themselves that this is just much bigger than it is. And in my opinion, this says something more just about the state of wrestling and where we're at this point in time, dude. She comes out on Raw or SmackDown or wherever, and she talks about going through therapy and shit like that. Nobody should really nobody cares if you've gone through therapy or not. What does that have to do with anything? What does that even have to do with what we're talking about here? You came back because Becky Lynch put her hands on your man. Why do you come back talking about, I went through therapy and this and that? Nobody fucking cares, right? Nobody gives a fuck. I don't care if like John Cena is in marriage counseling. Nobody should actually be coming out on TV and talking about this unless it has something to do with the story in kayfabe itself. You know, it doesn't really make any sense. She's supposed to be this crazed psychopath chick. You're not supposed to be in therapy, right? That would be like Kane fucking, going through therapy for his fucking psychological burns or whatever in his fire. It's completely fucking just preposterous. It shits on kayfabe, honestly. And I want to go into another topic as well, because the fans, in response to her mentioning that she was in therapy, I mean, good for her, man. Good for her. I want everyone to be well, but that's not the conversation at play here. That's not what we're talking about. Talk about what you're going to do to Becky Lynch or whatever. Talk about why you're back in the context of kayfabe. I don't care about your personal struggles outside of the ring. Nobody cares. Nobody has given a fuck about her this entire time she's been gone. What has she even done? She talks about she's done all these big things, all these different things. Nobody has seen you any fucking where, right? Just like CM Punk when he leaves, this guy doesn't do anything but get his ass kicked and then does like some D-level shit that nobody sees or watches or keeps up with. And the moment anyone hears about his name is just when he comes back to wrestling. That's all these people have is wrestling. They're not big deals outside of the ring. Just like fucking Samantha Irvin. She tries to drop music. She leaves. She says she's going to do all this big stuff and nobody fucking hears about her. When you leave the E, people stop caring. We only care about you for what we see on TV. Therefore, I don't give a fuck if you go through therapy or, if you just fell off your bike or, nobody cares about pedestrian, type shit like that, right? Like we all go through shit, but you're supposed to be a superhero. Wrestlers are supposed to be superheroes. I don't get what this fascination is now with fans and just wanting to see regular people on TV. They want to see more Kevin Owenses. They want to see more Sami Zayns. They want to see more people they can relate with. You know what I mean? I mean, when it comes to like The Rock or Stone Cold, yes, you may not be able to relate to The Rock, on the same level that you can relate to someone like Kevin Owens. But the difference between Kevin Owens and The Rock is that you don't see people like The Rock every day. You have to turn on a TV to see actual superstars like that. You know what I mean? You don't see people like Batista and Brock Lesnar every fucking day. That's the attraction of turning on the television, being able to see something that you don't get in your everyday life. And fans nowadays, they want to see themselves in these wrestlers. They're fucking obsessed with their personal lives. And don't get me wrong, I used to be one of these people who wasn't like obsessed as much as some of these fuckers out here. But I was someone who used to, follow some of the wrestlers on Instagram. I used to keep up with some of the rumors, some of the drama, some of the goings on backstage. I might keep up with, what wrestlers dating whoever and, whatnot. But that was kind of in my younger wrestling fandom, so to speak, in my teenage, wrestling fandom, so to speak, where I couldn't get enough of it. But now that I'm, an adult man and I have better things going on and I actually have a fucking life, I don't care who goes through what outside of the ring. And I mean, to be honest, that pertains to wrestling as much as it pertains to acting, as much as it pertains to music. I don't give a fuck what these people do in their personal lives. I don't care what John Cena does on a fucking Sunday morning when he gets out of bed that day. What does that have to do with the TV show? All I care about is what you do on TV. What I'm seeing, what I'm saying? What I'm tuning in to see. You expect me to pay to see a woman who just she's bland as fuck. All of her character was stripped away from her. Now she's just like a regular chick. And we're supposed to care about her on a deep personal level. Why? It's like, if anything, I mean, if we're going to talk about someone who we care about on a deep level, it's not going to be fucking AJ Lee, right? Like, I understand that there's fucking Taylor Swift super fans out there. Obviously, that's not okay either. But man, me personally, I don't give a fuck, quite frankly, that much about people who I even see every day at work. So why do I care to dive so deeply into the lives of these motherfuckers who are complete strangers to me? Like, I like Drew McIntyre, but I don't give a fuck what he had for breakfast or, what type of conversation he had with his wife yesterday. This is completely irrelevant information to me. What am I supposed to do with the knowledge now that AJ Lee went to therapy? I don't fucking care. Nobody else should either. But this is where we're at now. These are the type of fans who go out there and they chant therapy just because this bitch, goes through shit that, we all have fucking problems. So keep it to yourself. Nobody really gives a fuck. Really. I wish her well. I'm not saying I hope anything bad happens to her mental health. But, just keep it kayfabe. Keep it kayfabe when you're at least on TV. Say whatever you want to off of television, but at least keep it consistent with what we're seeing here. You showing up again is just, you're here to defend your husband, so to speak. You're here to stand up to Becky Lynch, and if we're gonna go into that as well, there's not a fucking single reason why Becky Lynch ought to be intimidated by AJ Lee. She's like the least intimidating female next to like a goddamn fifth grade softball player. I mean, come on, what are we talking about? And to be honest, man, the more that I think about it, the more that I think about the direction that things are going with these fans, they react more and more like fucking bots. They react more and more just like the crowds that you see on the 2K video games. I don't even really have too much interest in going to a wrestling show anymore because these crowds are no longer the groups of people that I want to be, around, associated with, involved with in any capacity. I went to an AEW show, one of the early AEW shows, when Dynamite had first become a thing. And man, I was like, dude, we're surrounded by just a bunch of fucking dweebs, man. I mean, it was me and a couple of my buddies, and I'm just like, dude, where are we at, right? What the fuck? Where are we at? We're just surrounded by a sea of just fucking, just fucking virgins and goddamn just fucking neckbeards, man. It's not my type of crowd. Quite frankly, it's not really my type of show these days anymore. The way that things are going with WWE, the stuff that we saw like on WWE Unreal, they're fucking crying backstage. I still remember when We saw them at WrestleMania 25, right after the Undertaker Shawn Michaels match. The two of them come back, Taker and Michaels, that is. They have probably one of the great, legitimately, not an exaggeration, one of the greatest matches, at least in WrestleMania history. And they got like a standing ovation or whatever. That's appropriate. It's WrestleMania. It's Michaels. It's Taker. And they know they just fucking did something special. But when you have fucking Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest and all these fucking jabronis, all these fucking scrubs who come back there crying after every fucking match they have, it's what are we watching, man? What the fuck? This has turned into some sort of a charity, Make-A-Wish type of event, type of company. I'm not too really thrilled about just the direction that things are going and have gone. I feel like WWE is just increasingly becoming something that's not for me. It's becoming something that's more and more like fucking, just anime, just nerd culture type BS, man. And don't get me wrong, I love professional wrestling. I'm not one of these people. I understand the perception of wrestling and wrestling fans is that pro wrestling is just one of the nerdiest, lamest things out there. I understand that. When I have to tell people, and I'm not ashamed of it. Right? It doesn't bother me. But when I tell people that I am a wrestling fan, and they probably get this idea of just like, it's fake, right? Look, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, obviously we know fucking wrestling's fake. We know what it is. We know it's a show. We know it's all performance. I understand that, right? I'm not delusional. I'm not, ignorant to the fact that wrestling does have this perception and this stigma around it. But I don't really give a fuck. I've never really given a fuck. I still like it. I don't like it in its current incarnation, but I still like what wrestling has historically been. And these days, it just resembles more of one just big goddamn circle jerk full of nerds and outcasts and just fucking, just a bunch of, like I said, dweebs and fucking dorks and booger eaters. And that's what this feels like. That's what it feels like. Again, AJ Lee coming back, it signals the worst. The way that these fans have responded, it just goes to show how far we've fallen. And now I see that WWE is going to be taking WrestleMania 43 to Saudi Arabia or whatever. So again, man, they're just leaving their hole wide open for anyone to just fuck them right up in the ass. For whatever cost WWE is willing to take it for. It's fucking pathetic. It's fucking sad. This is where we're at now. The audience is just going to continue to get smaller and smaller. The lows are going to keep getting lower. And quite frankly, this is the hole that WWE has dug themselves in. This is the grave that they've dug for themselves. They can continue to make as much money as they want, and they will just continue to, dilute their product more and more. They will just continue to erode their audience more and more. And you know what? Fucking dumb fucks like us are just gonna keep watching just because we have that love for it. From past years. And I guess the joke's on us, right? The joke's on us because we're still here, but WWE's not getting any of my money. They could kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. And, just with that one, man, I'm going to go ahead and peace the fuck up out of here and catch you all in the next one.